Well, friends, welcome to another fabulous episode of As the World Churns. I am your co-host, Danielle Moodie, along with my best partner in crime or crime partner. I don't even know. We're we're trying to stop some type of crime from happening. Andy Levy. So Andy, like I say often over the weekends, I like to take a little bit of a siesta for my mental and
Uh-huh.
spiritual health from the
Uh-huh.
news. But Donald Trump never does any such thing. He's just
Yeah.
one nonstop fucking garbage truck. And over the weekend, on his broke down social media platform, decided to repost a conspiracy theory that, quote, Joe Biden was executed in 2020 and he's been replaced with a robotic clone. Of course, the White House could not be reached for their response and reactions to said post, but the New York Times did put out a an article entitled "Trump Amplifies Another Outlandish Conspiracy Theory: Biden is a Robotic Clone," and he posted this after 10 p.m. on Saturday because whoever needs a fucking break from him, I don't know. Um, the New York Times has said that Trump has blamed Biden for all manner of societal ills and assailed his mental acuity, including with the specious theory that Biden's aides used an autopen to enact policies and pardons. Meanwhile, Donald Trump and his administration did the same thing. But the New York Times, they did do one thing that I appreciated, which is in this piece that they wrote. They tallied that in Donald Trump's first 4 years in his first administration, that he's totaled 30,573 lies, which is on average, Andy, of 21 lies a day. But
Oh my
this one,
God.
as you said before we even started recording, this is actually not anything that we should be laughing at and is more
No.
insidious and dangerous than anything else. What say you about robot Biden?
Yeah, the thing is, we are so far beyond the point where conspiracy theories are are fun. And I say this as someone who's been, as far back as I can remember, I've been really into conspiracy theories, not believing them, but reading about them. And just, I always have found them fascinating. Chemtrails, HARP, everything. It's all fascinating to me. And I used to actually get a lot of enjoyment out of reading about them. And I can't do that anymore. And this gets added to the list of things that Donald Trump has ruined because, we now live in a world with QAnon, and we now live in a world where people associated with QAnon and just associated with conspiracy nonsense in general occupy positions of power in this country, often high positions. And so when you see something like this, like it's really easy to just roll your eyes because that's a sane reaction. A sane reaction to hearing someone say that Joe Biden was executed in 2020 and replaced by either a robot or a clone or a robot clone. Your reaction to that should be to roll your eyes and to just be like, you
What?
need help. Go away. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But obviously, when it's the president of the United States sharing these thoughts and spreading them to millions and millions of people, it ain't funny. And it ain't something that you can just say, oh, I don't have to worry about this. We do have to worry about this because all of this ties together. All of the conspiracy mongering, whether it's Joe Biden is a robot clone or, they're eating your pets. It's all of a piece. And I feel like I use that phrase a lot on this show. And I was just thinking about this because I think it's really important that we understand that all of this goes together. And so the stuff that seems, like this, that seems just flat out insane and, just hand wave it away. You can't because it goes along with the immigrants, are eating your pets. It goes along with the Jews are doing whatever the Jews are doing. Black people are doing whatever black people are doing. Brown people, it all goes together. Phrases like trans ideology,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
as if there are trans people out there trying to convert everyone. And all of this is the same mindset. And it is a mindset that is, unfortunately, now it is ascendant in this country and it is dominant, I would say, in this current administration. So, long way of saying that, of sort of answering your question that, yeah, we can't just ignore this.
No, we can't ignore it. And I think that, the issue with the things that Donald Trump and this regime spread is the fact that they're trying to create and pull us into their alternate fact universe,
Right.
right? Where if you question everything, then nothing matters anymore, right? Like
Right.
if you're questioning whether or not up is down and down is up, whether the sky is blue, if water is wet, right? Then everything begins to lose its meaning. If you lose faith, right, that you can follow the president of the United States and assume that you're going to be receiving clarity, right? Information, then when he actually does do things that are horrible and terrible, like let's say allow 59 Afrikaners to come into the country because we don't have enough of our own domestically grown racists. We now have to import them into the country. And he holds up pictures of white farmers that have been killed, but it's not even from the country that he's talking about. Do you know, like this? See, this is the way that the insidious nature of their fascist white nationalist regime take hold and spread like wildfire. And then people don't trust. They don't trust any outlet anymore because you have the New York Times, right? Quote unquote legacy outlet that now has to run a story about
Right.
Trump
Yeah.
talking about Biden being executed and being an actual clone. And so now that New York Times story is in circulation with all of the conspiracy stories. But the New York Times is like, well, we have to report on it. The president said it. So it becomes this self-fulfilling prophecy of insanity where there is no real news anymore. There's no one to trust. If you can't trust the president, you can't trust legacy outlets, you can't trust what you're seeing, whether or not it's been autocorrected. Like it is 1984. And I think that that is part and parcel of the strategy that they have, which is to drive everyone off kilter, off balance, and a bit nuts so that you can't trust your eyes and ears.
Yeah, I completely agree. And look, that's why you mentioned the New York Times having to do this. NBCnews.com did a story on this. Let me read you the headline. Trump shares unfounded conspiracy theory claiming Biden was executed in 2020. Yes, this is an unfounded conspiracy theory. Did you really need that word in the headline? Like I don't. There's something about that. I'm not mad at NBC News for doing that, but on the other hand, it's like having to put the word unfounded in a headline about a story regarding a claim that Joe Biden was executed in 2020 and replaced by some kind of robot entity. That I think is exactly what you're getting at. Like we're at the point where a legacy news organization feels they have to put the word unfounded in there as opposed to just saying, Trump shares conspiracy theory. And I get it. I would have preferred the word like loony or something like that. Because unfounded to me, it gives it too much weight. Like
Yes.
that's I
Yes.
think what I'm trying to say. It gives it too much weight, like, well, we looked into this and we found no evidence of it
Right.
instead of just dismissing it out of hand. But like you said, this is what they do. This is how you get the great replacement theory that, this is how you get marchers in Charlottesville saying the Jews will not replace us, because all of these conspiracy theories are thrown out there. And sometimes they're true believers. Like Marjorie Taylor Greene talks about Jewish space lasers. I think she is that nuts that she believes the shit that she spouts. There are other people, like you said, who put this shit out there because they know it muddies the waters and it makes it easier to condition people to believe in conspiracy theories. And as you said, it also makes it easier, for people not to believe true stuff. So it's a giant mess that we have found ourselves in. And it's a little scary trying to figure out how we're going to get out of this.
The thing is, Andy, I don't think that you and I are going to find our way out of this this country is not going to find its way out of this for decades. And that to
Yeah.
me is what
Yeah.
is the most terrifying. We have to now discount that Joe Biden isn't a robot clone. I on a Monday.
I know. I
Like
know.
this is just this like idiocy personified.
Yeah. Yeah. By the way, if he is a robot clone, we need better technology.